Evening, everybody. Welcome to Kop Talk. I'm your host, Gems. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Caraboa Cup match versus Preston. Preston 0, Liverpool 2. With me tonight we have Stoney. How are you doing, Stoney?
Fine, thank you very much. I've been in the gym early today trying to get my 12-pack like Mo Salah today. So thank you very much.
You're trying to get them side fingers, right?
Something like that.
Someone's grabbing you up from behind. And we have Nicholas. Evening, Nicholas.
Evening, Gems. Evening, Stoney.
You doing good?
Yeah. Been a full on.
You got your Brendan Rodgers on top again.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Gosh. And also we have Kop Kelly.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Everyone. I'm still smiling. I can't take this smile off. I can't do it. Sorry, I'm struggling to keep a serious face. I can't do it.
Well, you've just reached home. Tell everybody where you've been.
Good evening, everyone. I got kidnapped by some Liverpool fans, and I spent the days in Old Trafford trying to get some information. And I escaped, and I wish I was there still. Actually, still taking the piss, but I have to come.
I mean, what a week it's been. What a week, after the international break, Watford, Atletico, Man U, and then Preston, what run of games. I mean, we did a show, didn't we, Nick, the next 7, and we were confident, not cocky, not arrogant, but didn't expect this many goals.
Perfect.
I'm sure.
Yeah, the unbeaten run continues.
Yeah.
It continues.
Right now, 4 out of 7, and how many goals have we conceded in total?
17 or something, is it? Oh wait. What are you talking about? As in this season?
Since April. Since April, it's 17.
It's incredible. It's
And Man U conceded 21 this season.
And finally.
Wow.
Anyway, let's get to it. So obviously last night we had cup game. Stoney, do you want to take us away? What was your overall thoughts on the match?
Oh my goodness. I think it was one of those crazy things as well. So I think leading into the game, and I think like anything else, I know us as a panel, and I know our wonderful club and our wonderful manager would have looked at Frankie McAvoy's Preston's recent form as well.
Yeah.
And that would have given us hope. So I don't think we need to be disillusioned about anything. It was always going to be the case that we were going to change our starting lineup for yesterday's game. But I think that the Lily Whites, they hadn't won. I think they had won 1 of their previous 6 games. But in fairness, the home form had actually been quite good going into this game for Preston.
Yeah, they're 19th, aren't they, in the league?
Yeah, but I mean, like anything else, we knew that they would have made changes. We would have made changes. I mean, they made 9 changes to their starting lineup yesterday as well. And I know their owner, Trevor Hemmings, had passed away earlier this month. He had passed away on the 12th of October.
Okay.
As well. Like anything else, we never want anybody to pass away. Their good innings. 86, he had passed away. So I think their owner had passed away at the beginning of the season as well. So there's been an indifferent period over at Frankie McAvoy's Preston, and I'm sure they wanted to try and get a little cup upset against us. It didn't happen, but they still played well, and I'm sure that they'll make changes going into their next fixture over the weekend, as well we will against Brighton. But a wonderful game to actually watch. So brilliant.
I mean, you can look at their league form, but a lot of for these teams, a cup game is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? They find some inner strength, inner energy. They're playing Liverpool. For them, that would have been the highlight of their career. Some of them, you know, even though it was the youngster. So I'm just going to flash this up. We'll get into it. So this was the lineup. I've got the substitutes that came on as well, and the game statistics. So we had 73% possession, which is not bad, you know. But I think a lot of that was because they stayed in their formation, didn't they, as much as they could at the back.
Yeah. They were extremely disciplined. But you know what, Germs, is so I think what was quite interesting about yesterday's game, I think Preston played a 3-4-1-2. And as much as they retained their shape, I don't think we actually had a shot in the first half of any form of discussion or anything like that. I think the forward line in terms of Maguire and what's his name, Barkins in.
I was going to say
those first few minutes were a little bit scary. I'm not going to give the impression that they weren't. They breached our defense. I think it's been a little while since I've actually seen deep lying players, whether it was both of their forwards or their midfielders, actually running from deep and actually coming past us. And as he said, if it wasn't for Adrian that we spoke about off camera, we could easily have been in trouble in the first 10 or 15 minutes in that game. So Preston actually started off well.
I mean, we'll definitely get into the Gomez-Matip issues that were yesterday as well. I'm just looking, shots. Both had 9 shots, both had 4 on target. It just happened that 2 of our 4 happened to go in. But shots-wise and attacking-wise, it was pretty equal. I mean, we had the ball a lot, but we weren't seeming to do much with it. And I do think when they did have it, they made good use of it when they did.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a tough game for strikers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll break it down now as well. But, you know, obviously we started with Harvey Blair, 18-year-old from our academy, Origi and Minamino. I mean, Origi and Minamino, this is their competition at the moment, isn't it? And then we had Curtis Jones, Tyler Morton, Ox in the midfield, and then Tsimikas, Gomez, Matip, and Nico, and then obviously Adrian at the back. So it was 2-0. Should we discuss the 2 goals first, and then we'll break down the players?
Wow.
Minamino's goal, like the build-up, Kop Kelly, the build-up to Minamino's goal.
It was very special, man.
Tyler and Nico.
Williams, you know, you have to pat him on his back. That boy had a great game yesterday. I thought he's emerging as a player that we were hoping that he would do, because he's he's given time now and he's playing in the position that he loves playing. But the skill to take the ball down like he did yesterday, and to have the nerve and the guile to set up Minamino was just top. It was top draw, absolutely top draw. So,
I think it was Tyler Morton's pass into Nico, wasn't it, as well? It was a really sexy pass in, that was as well.
Yeah, wasn't it?
So yeah, I think Nico played his socks off yesterday. I think he really wanted to prove a point yesterday. And then Nicolas,
he cleared the ball off the line and he cleared the ball off the line that hit his face.
I was going to say with his face as well. He took one to the face.
Anything for the team.
Yeah. Nicolas Origi's goal. There's a cross in from Tsimikas, wasn't it, initially? And
you didn't expect that to happen.
No, absolutely.
Be in that position. But that's where you need to be for if you're a number 9 or you're the top, you know. And I'm glad that he had the awareness to flash out his leg and do what he did. Yes, it was a bit special. And yes, it was a bit fortunate.
It was a bit flashy. I said to my kids, I think him and Taki have been doing like some karate lessons or something. But do you know what it reminded me of? Did you see there was a picture going around of Harry Maguire when they were all lined up before we played our game? There was a picture of him with his back leg bent up. I don't know if you've seen that. I think everyone's seen it online, and it was saying that was how he warmed up. But I don't know if
who's Harry Maguire? Who's Harry Maguire? Just put it out there.
He's Man U's captain, believe it or not. Do you know what I mean? They've got Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba. You got all these players, Sancho, and Harry's the captain. I always found that a bit bizarre myself. But yeah, so let's get into it. So it was a great game for a lot of our fringe and youth players, I think. We had, oh gosh, so the subs that came on were, trying to pronounce his name, Dixon Bonner.
Yeah, Dixon Bonner came on.
And Owen Beck. I love
Owen
that's
Beck. Correct. Yeah, and also Connor Bradley came on as well for Blair as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So let's break it down. So let's start with Adrian. So it was his first appearance since February. That's 2 clean sheets now this year for him. Kelleher was ill, so that was why he played since February. That's Nick's playing my video. So I think he showed some improvement, in my opinion. I'll pass it out to all of you as well. But I think, especially in the first half, and there's one save in particular that was outstanding. It was very Becker-esque. He came out, made himself big, no fear. I think after the mess ups of the Champions League, you saw his confidence just flow away. I think he's starting to get that back now. I think he was throwing the ball out quick as well to keep the momentum going, wasn't hanging on to it for too long.
When you're number 2 to probably the best goalkeeper in the world, or number 3, you have to make that step up. You have to make that step up. And that save, as you said, James, is very Alisson-esque, and it actually was Alisson. If you look at it, it's like a carbon copy of Alisson. So he's obviously learning something from a keeper who's at the top of his game.
Yeah, what a good mindset to have.
Yeah, it really is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Stoney.
Yeah, I think I can only really extend on what Kop Kelly's really said as well. I think we're in a position where we're extremely blessed in terms of the depth of our squad. I think it's evident that Alisson is clearly our number 1. I don't think anybody will ever disagree with that as well. I think we're also fortunate enough to obviously have another young up-and-coming goalkeeper in Keller. And then we have an experienced goalkeeper in Adrian to an extent. As I was saying before, I think his position in the squad is 3rd place, but also possibly part to support our coaching staff as well. And the fact that we're able to, what are we in? We're in October and we fielded 3 different goalkeepers. And to an extent, they've all performed extremely well. That means that our club is in a blessed position. So we're fine. And I think it was very good performance yesterday by Adrian. But as he said, like anything else, I think he'll know his position and he'll revert to being back either the 2nd or the 3rd goalkeeper when we play Brighton over the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have I said that we've used nearly all of our players apart from it was 5, then it was 4, and now it must be 3, I think, because Adrian's on a game. I think there's literally like, I'll have to check. I think there's 2 players out of our listed squad that we came out with that we haven't played, and we're in October.
But you know what, James? I think a good thing about that, what you've mentioned as well, I think it also shows in terms of the way that our club is obviously developing and actually progressing, and also how closely Klopp works with our under 3s academy coaching teams and our under 18s as well. And it's clearly identifying any of our young players that are obviously showing that they have the capability of training and occasionally playing with our first team squad. And then when they have the opportunity to actually put in a positive performance as they did against Preston, that's wonderful for us. I think even if we go back to look at Owen Beck, I mean, he signed a 5-year contract at our club. I mean, what is he? I don't even know how old is Owen Beck? He's 19.
Yeah. Oh, he's
cut
out. He can't believe it that much that he's left the building. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. Nicholas, Adrian, what's your thoughts?
He's improved as a player, in my view, and the fact that he has been experiencing and learning off the best keeper in the world, and I feel the best coaching staff in the world. And you know, the fact that there are 4 of them, there's not 3, there's 4. Luga, he's another young Brazilian, I think, definitely South American, and the fact that he alone as well is training with the more senior players, doing individual coaching just helps, and all of that good stuff just creates a nice little recipe to basically bring about improvement. And I'm happy that I'm seeing it in Adrian, because we've all had experiences of our hearts jumping into our throats whenever Adrian's been in the stick in past seasons. But
I think we're quite blessed because we've got a world-class first.
Yeah.
We've got a young emerging superstar in the making in Kelleher. And then, because yesterday he was ill, we still have an experienced, confident now. He seems to be more confident now, third choice. So I think we're pretty blessed in the goalkeeper category right now. It's the most blessed we've been in that area for a long time. A long time. When I look back and I think, wow,
when I went to the Watford game, and obviously when they were defending our end, he looked so assured. And he looked like he's got the confidence of his back four, and he just looked like he's so assured. And even when they did eventually get one shot on target, he flipping saved it. Nothing to do for 90 minutes, and he was alert enough to make a save. And that shows what a great keeper he is.
Definitely. Okay, so we'll go on to my personal man of the match is Nico Williams. Just because he's got so much pressure on him. He's had a lot of criticism, I'm sure he sees it. I'm sure he sees that he's not good enough for Liverpool. He could never step up to Trent's level. We don't, come on now. That's a giant leap for any player. But I thought yesterday he played his socks off. He worked so hard for the whole game. He was key for both of the goals. He was the key instrument that initiated that. And then obviously, he blocked goal with his face on the line. That's just Liverpool-esque, isn't it? End to end, helping to score and helping to defend. And that's what Klopp asks. And what more can you ask of him, really? What's your thoughts on his performance?
I think that he could have quite easily had the captain's armband on yesterday, and he would have been rightfully, deserving of that and man of the match. I thought his display yesterday was head and shoulders above pretty much anybody on that pitch, bar maybe Origi's goal. That kind of overshadowed our performance a bit, but he was everywhere. Yeah. So really impressed with the boy. Yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
For that.
Nick, is he starting to show signs that with more effort and drive, he could possibly be the understory? Because we, a big part of our discussions in the transfer window where we haven't got cover for Trent, Milner's had to fill in.
There's always going to be that argument. Who is going to be adequate replacement or number two, so that we don't lose any of our attacking prowess, our capabilities in that area of the pitch. Again, only time will tell. But last night's performance showed us that yes, he's got it in there. There is a reason why he is playing. He's on that pitch, and he's in that shirt.
Yeah.
It's not the reason. It's up to them now. Basically, Klopp has spoken to them day in, day out. You've got the training guys and girls that are there helping them.
Mm-hmm.
That has to equate into improvement, and I'm glad it's happening.
I think he's starting to realise that the shirt's wearing him now, as opposed to him wearing the shirt now. He's becoming a Liverpool player duly due to the way he plays football. And not any expectations of him some managers put so much expectation on youth that it overawes them and makes them nervous, and they don't perform to their highest of abilities. But yesterday I saw a side of him thinking, what, the future is definitely bright.
Right, yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, and it's it's the same thing that Nicholas and Kop Kelly have said. I think. I think we mentioned something here as well. There's different parts of becoming a professional footballer, and it may be something that you end up, some of our players end up living their dream in terms of playing at Liverpool throughout their career. But also what we're also doing is creating a platform for them to become professional footballers. And sometimes it may not actually be at Liverpool. But even if you give an example tomorrow, as an example for the future, we had Tyler Morton that played in midfield for us, 19. We had Harvey Blair that played the right side of our forward for us, 18. We had Connor Bradley, right back, Northern Ireland International, 18. We had Owen Beck that came on, 19. And we had
Rush's nephew in here as well.
Yeah, and we had Elijah Dixon Bonner as well. I know he's, a little bit older. He's 20 as well, that come in midfield as well. What we're doing, we're actually creating a platform for these players as well. And I can only extend on what Nicholas and Kop Kelly was saying as well. Nico Williams' performance yesterday has actually continued to actually show his growth. I mean, he was involved in the first moment of quality results in our opening scoring. So he showed great composure and vision, raced into the box before crossing the ball to the near post to Minamino. I mean, Minamino's touch was like watching Firmino, actually. Lovely little...
It was like a karate kick, wasn't it?
Was run. He had no chance as well. But
some special finishes yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that was nice. And as you said, he was also involved in
Origi's goal.
creating confusion as well to the second goal as well, where Nico Williams kind of got into the box, pounced on the ball. He was alert. Shot was originally blocked, and then Origi did his bit of magic as well. So I agree with you as well. He had a really good performance playing against Preston. I think he owed us that. And I think I've looked at Nico Williams in a lot of games as well. And considering he's played so much for Wales, I think I expect more from him. So I'm glad he had a good performance yesterday. And I just hope that he continues with that journey as well of development with us.
See, this is it, Stoney. We expect more from our players. Every time the players walk out onto any pitch up and down this country or on the continent, we expect them to pull out a performance. Every week, But
you have to. This is their job. Do you know what I mean?
It's their job, and
we don't ask for them to be Ronaldinho. We don't ask them to be the next Salah, but we just want to see hard work. And I think, Milner and Henderson are the perfect role models for, you don't have to be the most gifted, natural, talented player, but if you put in the work and the effort, like Nico did yesterday, you get your rewards. And I think, like you said, he was involved in Taki's goal, and it's quite similar. When you see our front three, Bobby, Mane, Salah, quite often one of them will attempt the goal, and it's usually Bobby. He's always there for the rebound. So it was kind of like, Nico with Salah having a shot and Bobby's there for the rebound. It's very similar, again, playing the Liverpool way, which is what we like to see. It's all fed down. I think there was a comment from Harvey Blair, actually, and he said it's really nice now where they're training. He said, because it's so close to the first team, he said, we're all on our best behavior because you just never know when someone's going to come and watch. Because he said quite often a lot of the first players just pop over to have a little look. So he's you just never know who's watching. So we're always and obviously they can do the same. I think that was genius, moving that together. I think that was one of the best things, and for Klopp as well. He can oversee the whole of the land. He's like the king with his kingdom below him.
That's nice, actually, because you're right. I think even for Harvey, even for Blair yesterday, I think he played 55 minutes for us. He played the right side of our forward, didn't he? So right side, played 55 minutes as well. And you're right, he was replaced by Connor Bradley afterwards. But you're right, even in that sense, to know that the players know that they may have an opportunity, but also know that they're constantly being watched and monitored as well to keep them on their feet. That's good. You're right here, James. That's nice.
But I've always said, James and Stoney and Nicholas, if you're old enough, you are good enough. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
he was quite lucky. I think he was quite lucky because I think Cade Gordon was ill or there was something wrong with him, and somebody else. So, he was like third in place for that position, and he had that shot. I mean, we'll get on to him in a minute, but it's just nice, isn't it? Let's move on to. I'm just going to go through my list. So I've got Curtis Jones next. I saw a quote saying at points in the game, he was channeling in his inner Ronaldinho at some moments.
Oh, I tell you.
But he did have some fancy moments. 86% pass completion rate. He did kind of boss the midfield.
Yeah.
I would say he did have some shaky moments, and a lot of his end products, could have been finessed a bit nicer, but
what was interesting yesterday? He played. Curtis Jones plays in a different position for us yesterday. So he played in a number 6 with Ox on one side and Connor Bradley on
the other.
It's more in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah. No, sorry. Sorry. Curtis Jones plays centre.
Yeah.
Morton played on the left,
and
Ox played on the right. Yeah.
Ox played on Jones played on the left. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually quite interesting to see Jones actually playing that position as well. And you're right, James. I agree with you. There's some pictures of him doing flip flaps and little bits of techers that I thought, okay. I didn't realize he actually had that. That once again is
Bobby.
Yeah, once again, that's obviously showing that his confidence. It wasn't arrogance, but once again, I think it's actually showed of his confidence. And when he's got the actual opportunity to be able to demonstrate his quality, it was obviously good to see him. And I think yesterday was a game Curtis Jones was actually able to play where hopefully he wasn't playing under pressure, because he played the full 90 minutes for us. Right. Full 90 minutes. I know, on 90 minutes we made 2 additional changes, but he actually played 90 minutes and he seemed peaceful.
Happy.
Yeah, you're right. He seemed happy. So I thought that was actually quite nice.
I think you're right, Stoney. I think yesterday he was one of the senior players in the squad. I know it sounds weird.
Thank you.
I was going to say, because he probably felt like I'm going to be, the parent to these young ones that he probably has played with and seen a lot.
Yeah, he's probably seen them come up just as much as he has, So.
I mean, Nick, I'm just looking at Anthony saying, big up the panel. Do you know there are still distraught Man United fans out there? What's your advice for them? My advice is suck it up. Suck it up and feel what it feels like when you need to get a new manager in. How hard it is to find a new manager. That's my advice. Lower your expectations.
No sympathy whatsoever. I'm sorry, but
no sympathy at all.
Advice.
So Nick, Curtis Jones, obviously he had to come on versus Man United as well, didn't he? And I thought he played well. The whole team played lovely in that game, and then he's played again today versus Preston. So actually, he's only had.
When you see Ronaldo had 2 kicks on that game. 1 was offside and 2 was in Curtis Jones's chest. So really, he had two opportunities on that game and he messed up on one of them. So hey,
we discussed that and I explained how angry I was, and if Curtis was my son, I would be hunting him down. And actually, Ronaldo's announced today that he's got twins on the way, hasn't he? And I just
he has.
I think that's it.
Wow.
But you were there kicking a 20-year-old in his stomach on Sunday.
Did you see Canate? He wasn't having it, mate.
No.
I know.
No, Jones.
I could talk about that game all day, but let's stay focused.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Let's stay focused. How do you think Curtis did, Nick? Considering he played on Sunday expectedly, and then he came out again.
Yeah, more assured. A lot more assured. Yes, he considered himself one of the senior players in last night's match, and I'm glad his maturity shone through. Yeah, he was doing a little bit of techers here and there, but I guess it's allowed considering the level of opposition. Yeah.
Techers is allowed no matter what. I love that. I love watching Bobby's little runs, and I'm thinking, he's been around Bobby a little while now, hasn't he?
Well, James, what you said was true. You're getting paid to do this. This is your livelihood. So if you've got skill and techers, just show it. Don't be afraid to do it. If you're naturally gifted,
yes,
do it. Just do it. You know?
If you're in the moment where you're
a beautiful game, isn't it? It's a beautiful game. I want to see it. The amount of times I've annoyed my kids because it's the live match, but I've rewound a pass Bobby's done about 20 times. They're like, Mum, we're missing the game. I'm like, I don't care. I need to see this again. Like, he's just done a little nutmeg or a little flick over. We love seeing those things. It's just what excites the game. So the fact he was doing that yesterday, I was like,
Sunday when he got kicked in the stomach, did you see the build up before that? The way he shielded the ball. He did a little
he outran Ronaldo, and that was why he was angry.
He made him angry because he's thinking, Jesus, this kid's got no right to do that, but he did it. So he's confident.
Who are you doing that to?
Exactly. He couldn't take it, mate. He couldn't take it.
I mean, we did say in the transfer window, I think, a few times that when people were saying about no signings, like last season was Curtis's introduction. He was the young one coming in.
Yeah.
Now this season, he's not the young one coming in now. Now he's classed as a senior-ish kind of player. Yeah. Now is his time. You know, he's on the level with Ox and all of them on the bench that need to fight for that spot. So now is his time to fight for that spot. And I thought he did quite well yesterday.
And that team that we played yesterday, you have to understand, they're not that far away from us, you know. Liverpool and Preston is considered like almost like a local derby, really.
Yeah.
They're not too far away from us.
The road.
Yeah, cup game as well. They're gonna
good game for everyone. Yeah,
they're gonna bring it. Championship game as well. It's a kind of different kind of game to Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go on to Gomez now. So I thought the first half not that impressive. Looked a bit shaky, looked a bit rusty, looked a little bit lost, as did Matip actually. Let's discuss the both of them in that first half, because I thought, Matip, what are you doing half the time? He looked a bit lost. I don't know if it was because I often notice with Matip when Becker's not behind him, he does look a little bit shaky. And maybe it was just the difference of midfield and players all around him. He just looked a bit off the balance. But then I was thinking the pair of them, especially Gomez, he's had barely any time, is a little bit like a bit of a pre-season game for him. Matip's been off for a little while now, hasn't he, as well? But I wasn't impressed first half with that pairing. Stoney, first half of that pairing.
Thank you. I'm glad you're going to hand it over to me. So I know at the beginning of our show, we mentioned that Preston lined up in a 3-4-1-2, yeah? And I think with Potts, Berghausen and Sean Maguire. Oh gosh. I know the pundits actually mentioned at the end of the game that Gomez possibly had man of the match, but I'm just going to be honest from what I observed as a non-professional, okay? As a non-professional. In that first game, in the first half, Gomez looked like he was carrying about 12 people on his back. I could not. Gomez is not a slouch. I mean, acceleration and sprint speed. He can look after himself. I would like to think the majority of Premiership players, but Preston were actually running from deep, and some of the runs that Potts, Berghausen, and Sean Maguire are actually making in that first probably up to about 27 minutes, they caught us flush. And I kept thinking to myself, you know what? I wonder if anybody's actually seeing what I'm actually seeing here at the moment. And I was a little bit disheartened. I was a little bit. I know Gomez managed to stabilize himself and he did a much more productive second half. Matip was brought off at half time and he was replaced by Nathaniel Phillips. I mean, I'm not too sure what the nature of that was to do with, but I tell you, Gomez and Matip in those first up to, I'd say, 27 minutes, they look like they was on the rum and the cigars. they look a little bit heavy. And I'm just putting it out there. That's just how I felt.
Did they underestimate Preston? Were they just caught sleeping? I do not know. They were just not ready. They were not ready. That first half, I thought, what the hell? Gomez, man. This is why Konate is playing a game ahead of you right now.
Yes.
don't look ready. Like,
yeah,
I know. Let's give him a break because, you know, he was out all last year. Verge has just come in and smoothed it in, but not everybody can do that, you know.
I think yesterday I answered the question whether Gomez and Matip can play together as a partnership. And deep down, a lot of Liverpool fans said, no, they can't.
no.
Because they're both so lethargic. Can you see yesterday there was no urgency. There was no, and Gomez was captain. You have to understand that. He bloody took the captain's armband and he didn't put in a captain's performance yesterday.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Let's move on because, you know, let's just brush that one under the carpet. Matip is a world-class defender. I don't know what that was. I don't know if he was just, you know, surrounded by kids and thought, what the hell is going on?
And
then obviously Gomez is being really slow and he's probably just stressed out. He might have just said to Klopp, I ain't going back on with him. On Nate. This is championship.
It's either Van Dijk or Konate or no one. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. And actually, while we're talking about these lot, let's talk about Nate in the second half because I just thought he was calm, collected, no dramas. Just enough. The good thing when you've got a defender like him is when you can't really think of anything to say because that just shows he's done his job.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I think what happened was Nate Phillips came on and whispered something in Gomez's ear.
And do you know, Nicholas? I think you're so correct in that. You know, I think what was nice about watching yesterday's game is, I think a lot of our academy players, and I'm not just primarily speaking about Liverpool, and this may be across the board in a lot of the Premiership clubs. Their coach actually played the ball on the floor, and yesterday, Preston weren't having it. That ball was in the air for a lot of the games yesterday. And a lot of our players were playing with those or pop-out cartoon character eyes. They couldn't manage that. But I think yesterday's game, as you were saying as well, that transition or the substitution with Nat Phillips actually coming on. I think Nat Phillips that's calm. You want to play the ball in the air? That is exactly what I'm about. And he just gobbled it up.
Yeah,
absolutely gobbled up yesterday's performance. So, you know,
that's that really works, isn't it? Those kind of games.
Yeah,
just suited him. And it's interesting that we have that variety that Klopp's like, oh, okay, that's how you want to play. All right, I got something for you. It's like playing poker, isn't it? You know. Yeah. All right, that's how you want to play. Nate, go in there, get your head on the ball because he ain't scared to do that, is he? Whereas Matip's a bit scared to do
that.
Listen, I think he waits outside stadiums for when people kick the ball over stadium, he fucking heads it back. He loves headering so much.
Yeah,
honestly,
this is it.
A genius when it comes to headering the ball, man.
No,
but you know, I suppose you're right. The good thing about that, as Kop Kelly was saying as well, about the way that Matip may have managed the game, and I think how successful Nathaniel Phillips also managed the game when he came on. But also, I think it's probably good how Minamino managed that game. And I think it's a strange thing. I don't have the facility
to Minamino anyway now.
Yeah. I don't have the facility to have a player cam on any of the feeds or any of the channels I actually watch. But I think in terms of a game where you're up against a championship team where it's probably going to be a bit more physical, where you do have seasoned and professional and experienced players who are not going to be afraid to put the foot in. I think Minamino actually managed yesterday's game quite positively, and I hope that there's some positives coming from that. Bearing in mind how Klopp mentioned last year when he went on loan out to Southampton, he was unsure the type games that he wanted Minamino to play in because he was unsure whether he can manage the physical side of it. So in that sense, it's almost as if my own player cam was on Minamino, and I was quite happy how he played yesterday.
He did get a lot of criticism, especially in the first half. I don't think he was outstanding. It was a bit of a strange game, and I'd have to think to myself, he's playing with a lot of players that haven't actually played together before. So it's all a bit iffy. It's all a bit different anyway. It's not like this team have played together and they've got some chemistry. So I think it's a bit harsh to criticize him. And ultimately, he does his job. He does his job, doesn't he? And that's all you can ask for. And that was his 3rd goal in 2 games in this cup competition.
If you look at the starting 11 yesterday, it's like he was almost like the flair player, because what the commentator said about him yesterday is that physically he doesn't like to get involved. But when it comes to flair and skills and stuff, he knows where to be at the right time. And that goal,
bit like Jota. Like Jota, he's not physical. He's not too into. I've seen him get shoulder barged a few times, bless him, and he don't look like he can handle it. I think Klopp, I can't remember who he said it about, Conor Bradley. I saw a quote and he said he's going to be a great player. He just needs to get in the gym. I think Klopp likes them to train hard, and even Konate, when he joined us, he said, geez, like the pre-season workouts were killing him. He said, I was going home and going straight to sleep. They knocked me out. So I think Klopp does demand that physicality in the game. So I think maybe Minamino and Jota need to just bulk up a bit.
These guys have got gyms in their homes. I mean, Jesus Christ, you guys live in houses. Get in the gym, work yourself out. But I think the best thing that Minamino could have done was go on loan for last season.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. Go to a club that play that kind of physical aspect of that game just to make him a lot stronger. And he seems to have come back, and he's a much better player for it. Much better
how nice is it to have these cup games and just have someone like him just play 90 minutes fresh, and get a goal and do the job,
And he'll try something, and if it doesn't succeed, he'll keep on trying. You don't see him get his head down and think, "Oh God, what I'm doing is not right." He'll just keep doing it, and eventually,
You want a player that will keep his head up. Okay,
absolutely.
I've got until the final whistle.
Absolutely, Nicholas. Yeah, absolutely, mate.
And I'm just glad that him and Origi are scoring, even if it is one of our domestic cups, because in the Carabao Cup, 5 goals in the last 2 rounds, and it's been
That's a good partnership. And in all fairness, I would stick with it because they seem to work well off of each other.
Well, AFCON's on its way.
Is it?
I don't know what's going on yet. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Personally, it went from there's only going to be missing 1 game to 8 games to now it might not even go ahead.
Yeah.
I just don't read any of the stories. I see the headlines and I skip it because I think we could get to January and there could be anything could happen between now and January. The past 2 years we've had. So I'm just going to forget about it kind of for now. But it would be nice. Those two have a little bit of a relationship going now. And maybe with, Cade Gordon, when he's fit as well, he looked very threatening in that position. And that front three of Cade Gordon, Minamino, and I forgot his name now, Origi. Even Jota mixed amongst there. And Bobby will still be here as well. People forgetting that, So we could have like Samikas, Bobby, Nick, we could still have this attacking down the wing with Bobby in the middle, Minamino, Cade Gordon, Jota. We still got a good mix. Yes, we won't have Salah, the Egyptian king, the god, but we do have these fringe players that are scoring in other competitions for us, and they have got a bit of chemistry. Going on to Origi, if you're ready, or you can talk about Minamino a bit more.
No. Go for it, guys.
I'm just going to quickly go on to Origi. His goal, how audacious. I mean, we've spoken about it a bit already. He's just showing there was no bad vibes, no I'm only coming out for the Caraboa Cup. There was none of that. They all
he does have that in him.
They're going to play for their team. They're going to play as much as they can, as often as they can. When they get their chance, they're going to do it. I don't think he was... he got his goal. It was a funny game yesterday. I don't think anybody was, apart from Adrian and Nico and Curtis when he was being Ronaldinho, I don't think anybody really shone out. Wow, he was amazing.
And again, the stats confirm it, James. 9 shots in total, 4 on target.
Yeah.
Both sides. Yeah, that was a lot. Sounds of it. Too many. Well, both teams not even getting above double figures. Yeah.
But Nick, was that Origi and Minamino, or was it them getting fed? Where was the issue? Why wasn't Origi
believe it
getting
was
those
a case
shots
of
in.
chess in midfield. That's what I think it was a case of. A lot of their balls are coming from either in the defense or in the midfield. So in terms of us being able to supply our front three with the type of service that they're used to or that we play, it wasn't happening. Definitely wasn't happening, and I can understand why it was as low as it was last night. But
and you have to understand that the chance I had yesterday is because Gomez gave the ball away. It's not as if they ripped us to shreds and did tiki-taki football, So really, I completely agree with you.
That to me basically shows me that we do have a second team. We do have a second team, which is
that was a lot. Those were like the third team. Jeez.
Well, there you go.
Harvey Blair. Tyler Morton, that's not second team, that's third team, Origi, Donny?
I think it was one of those things where I think if it's almost as if that goal will possibly end up being a meme. But in terms of his technique, the way that he was able to actually manipulate his body to actually score that goal, I mean, I've probably watched it about 20 times as well.
And he figure it out.
The pressure, he actually tapped it. The way I do not understand how somebody can even actually get their body in that position, let alone be able to gracefully tap that ball.
And he lobbed him,
to actually get it over the goalie.
Yeah, lobbed him.
Yeah, he done a lob, a backward scorpion kick lob. Listen, that's praise be. I mean, the thing is, in order for a player to do that, they clearly have that vision in their mind.
Yeah.
And it came to him so quick from coming over from Nico Williams anyway, from the deflection. He was already ready in that position and his body was positioned. So the fact that he got that in, listen, as he said, if that was Ronaldinho, if that was Messi, any other world-class players, everybody would be going crazy. It's Origi. He scored it for us, and praise be. I'm very happy. A wonderful goal.
Yeah. But Stoney, he does have that in him, do you remember against Preston?
Look at Barcelona. Like he will forever be not a legend. What were we saying? Cult hero.
He's a very cute player. Very cute player with that technical ability as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Quick thinking. He
when he doesn't think too much on the ball, he's fantastic. When you give him time on the ball, he doesn't know what to do.
But beautiful, absolutely beautiful finish as well yesterday. Beautiful. That was something. I know the Armory TV aren't watching us. No, I don't mind saying this. That's something a goal like Dennis Bergkamp would score or something like that. That's like a throwback goal. So
it was wow. That's what
like you said, he barely put any effort on the ball. Just provided the bounce for it. Like a little trampoline for it to bounce off and over. Got the tilt just right.
And the goalkeeper was off his line.
Thank you.
The goalkeeper's like this. I had to, our thumbnail, our advert for the YouTube show, it literally is the goalkeeper going like this. Like I had to put that. My son, I was making it. My son, he's a Man U fan, and he was like, "Mum, you have to have Origi doing the goal on your advert." So that's why when you see this YouTube video, that is the advert for it.
I know. I think Origi saw Harry Maguire, what he was doing, and he thought, I'm going to do one more.
I'm going to do it the other way. Show him that,
And he did it the proper way, how to actually score a goal.
Origi went, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Okay, next one, we're going to do Ox and Samika. So let's start with Ox. Again, rumors are he's not happy, he's not getting minutes. He got a lot of minutes again.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. I think that's come out of nowhere, unless he wants to be in a first team squad, which I think is he really capable of unless he lowers a lot down. He's not going to get into a top 4 in any league. I agree.
He's in a position now where he's looking at the different club. He's looking at the grass in different club respects, in the garden. And if I was in his position, I'd be looking at it and saying, the grass doesn't look as green. The grass doesn't look as green. Seriously, there's no reason for him to want to leave. He's part of a title winning and title channeling. Sorry, Pete.
He made some great runs, made some amazing runs. His footwork was brilliant. Yeah. It's just the same old thing with Ox, is that final product, you know. He loves a strong, powerful shot, just not going in. But I mean, we've seen a lot of players doing that. Yeah, maybe if he did play more, they would start going in. I mean, we had this issue with Mane for a while, didn't we? 10 shots and then he scored 1 goal in the Porto game. Stoney, Ox yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting, and I know that we've spoken about Ox. I think we actually set aside some period of time for Ox actually in one of our previous shows as well. And I think the interesting thing with Ox is he played a lot of our preseason games. He's actually featured in all of our Champions League games and all of our Caraboa Cup games. And he's also featured in a good amount of our Premiership games as well. So he's actually getting game time. Ox is actually getting game time. I thought what's quite interesting yesterday.
Again, to be honest.
Yeah, and what was quite interesting in terms of yesterday's game is, I know Klopp and our coaching staff had mentioned that when he did have his injury last season, and they were, part of his rehabilitation, that he was playing in the number 9 where Bobby had been playing. But a lot of the games that he's been playing this season, and even yesterday, he was actually playing in the number 8. So Ox is getting game time. Ox is getting game time, and it's really good that you guys have obviously raised that today. It may be somebody out there stirring the pot in order to make a headline that is worth nothing.
It's they tried to do the same with Gomez last week and say, why aren't you getting first team football? I mean, he didn't really show the. I think that rumor might be squashed now after yesterday's first half, but I think it is just people saying, oh, well, Liverpool shouldn't have players on their bench. They all should be getting first team football. I think that's all it is. But I think he was great. Just needs to work on his finishing. It's just that end product. I can't wait to see some more lightning bolts from Ox, from outside the box from Ox. That's what he's
promised. Thank you.
I want to see these outside the box goals that we promised. Right, so I'm going to show this now because there's a few players that I wanted to just put a little spotlight on. So we've got
it's kids in tech.
Vandenberg, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Vandenberg.
So obviously he played really well yesterday, but he wasn't on our team. But he is actually our player. And I thought first half he was one of the reasons that we were actually struggling for some of it.
He was very assured, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then we've got Tyler Morton and we've got Owen Beck and Harvey Blair. Pretty much all the same age. I think Sep's a bit older. But what an exciting little prospect these guys are. So I'm going to start with just find my notes. Tyler Morton, 18 years old, midfield. He joined us when he was. Is that you again, Nick?
Yeah, needs food. He just needs
he joined us age 7. I was just writing down. So he made his debut in the under-18 squad in the 1920 season, and then he moved up into the under-23s in the next season. Got 10 goals. He was part of the FA Cup final. I think that was one we beat Man City in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he actually signed in January 2021 as a official Liverpool player, and he made his debut in the second half versus Norwich in our first Caraboa Cup game. But I really, really like this guy, and he got a full game, which shows Klopp really sees something that he really likes. He's been quoted to say Henderson is his idol. Interesting. He channeled a bit of captaincy yesterday. Did you maybe see that within him? His inspiration, his role model coming through? Tyler Morton, Stoney, I'll let you start with this one.
I think that's good, and Thanks, James. We obviously appreciate as well the stats and the journey that Tyler Morton's actually played for us as well. And obviously it's one of his first games that he's actually played for us this season. But he was also involved in 4 of our pre-season games this season as well. And he actually was involved in a lot of game time. So going back to what to all of us actually said at the beginning of the show as well, Klopp's actually working very closely with our under-23s academy and our under-18s. And if he, I believe, is obviously seeing something in any of our players, confident that they're going to come and train with us in the view that if we do have games like the Caraboa Cup games, or if we do need additional players on our bench for the league games, or whether it's in the Champions League games, and these young players are actually going to feature, and that can only be a positive for our club. So, similar to yesterday, Tyler managed to get 90 minutes underneath his belt, and that can only be a positive for us.
Kop Kelly, Tyler Morton, what's your thoughts? I mean, I think it's a good thing that we have the training ground so close to the youth one, and maybe that influences Klopp's decisions on buying transfers. It must do, if he sees these youngsters and thinks, why am I going to buy a younger player when I've got some coming up?
Anybody who has LFC TV at home knows that these guys feature on there a lot, because they show a lot of under-21 goals and under-18 games. And
I do watch some of their games on there as well.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, it's definitely, Klopp has to see something in them, because if you stand out for under-21s and under-18s, there's only one way that you're going to go, and that's either in the first team or in the fringes. And Klopp sees something that obviously Klopp sees, and in Klopp we trust, and
as always.
So good luck to them, and I wish them all the best. And what Stoney said was absolutely right. He hit the nail on the head. If they don't succeed at Liverpool, we built them up to a certain level where they can go and succeed elsewhere. No hard feelings at all.
No. I'll move on to the next one. Nicholas, I'll ask you what you thought of his performance. Connor Bradley, again, 18 years old. He's actually a right back and a midfielder, so maybe he's just not quite found his. I think Trent was a bit like that, wasn't he, for a while? He hasn't quite found it. He came in 2019 on a 2-year scholarship, and then a year in, we signed him on for 3 years, so he's actually signed until 2023. He made his Irish debut versus Malta in the 85th minute in the Euros. So him and Kelleher got that, bro blood. And he played versus Norwich as well. I like this kid. I think he's a fighter. I think he's tough. Always given 100. That's what I've noticed with him.
And the fact that him alongside Tyler Morton just shows me and gives me nice, warm, fuzzy feeling inside, because they are our future. But if our future, then they're definitely going to be another club's future. So keep on playing, keep on doing what you're doing, boy.
I think they're young enough that we can sculpt and mold, and the fact that, like we keep saying, they're training so close to the first team, and Klopp's letting them get this taste. So when they finally do get to go in the first team, they're not going to be daunted. They're not going to be overwhelmed. It's just going to be like, like Harvey Elliott. It's cool. Playing at Anfield.
I have a question for you guys. If we go into the quarters and then the semis and then the final of the Caraboa Cup, will these guys still be in the squad?
That is an absolute excellent question as well, Kop Kelly. And you're right. It will be interesting to see how our club, because I know when Arsene Wenger was still in charge at Arsenal, that's something that he would do as well. The academy players, regardless of how far they'd actually get in the League Cup, then that squad of players will continue. It'll be interesting to see. You're right. It was very interesting to see. But, just extending on what you were saying as well about Connor Bradley, I mean, we're blessed. He's 18 and he's a full international for Northern Ireland as well. Played on the 12th of October against Bulgaria, and prior to that, both games against Switzerland. So it's obviously working in our favour. We're doing something right, and Northern Ireland are doing something right as well. So, but yeah, excellent question. I like that again, Kop Kelly. That's going to be on my mind as well for another topic. It's going to be interesting to see who we do field in the next round. That's excellent. Actually, I like that.
I think one, it depends who we get.
Yeah.
Because Man City have been knocked out, haven't they? This is their, bread and butter cup. They've been knocked out now. I think West Ham are a force to be reckoned with. We have them coming up. Yeah. I think they'll be our toughest challenge yet, to be honest, the way they're playing.
They're really playing well.
I think it depends who we draw. We might have a complete mix-up maybe between first and second team, but where those changes will happen, I don't know. But I think it might just be more of the second team, maybe one youngster, but maybe not as young. Possibly, I was thinking Champions League, if we've cleared the group and we're through, he might, sub some on towards the end of second half. I don't know, but he does like to give these youngsters an experience. And for Connor Bradley, what an experience it would be coming on in the second half versus Porto.
Amazing.
He does like to do that for them, and I can see him doing that possibly if we've already cleared the group. I can see him maybe doing that. The next one I'm going to get onto. So he got subbed on in the 91st minute, bless him, but he made a post. He was like, "Wow, I've just made my senior debut for Liverpool. It's a dream come true." And that was Elijah Dixon, Bonner.
Yeah,
he's
20.
Midfielder. Yeah, but we signed him from Arsenal in 2015. He's big Liverpool fan, big Steven Gerrard fan, and he played under Gerrard and under 18s as well. He's captain England for the under 16s and the under 17s. He scored a penalty in our FA Cup final, and he's now in the under 23 squad. So he's not really seen much of him play yet. I haven't really seen much of him in the under 23s or anything, but the fact that we've got someone that's captain England twice, in his year and campaigns as well.
A future leader.
He's just bringing them out. Kop's just rolling them out. Like, here you go. Here's your senior league debut. Take it. You've got 2 minutes.
But those 2 minutes for him must felt like 92 minutes.
Oh, I don't know. It might have felt like 10 seconds. Like,
yeah.
Do one or two ways. It could have felt like ages, or it could have just felt like 5 seconds. Like
he came on and came off.
Yeah. So we couldn't really see much to talk about him.
But you know what, James? You know, and that's excellent that you've actually raised that point as well, because even with that, I think sometimes it's the. So you were mentioning he's played a lot for our under 18s and a lot for our under 23s as well, right? And he's captain England. But you know that the plus side, and maybe things that I may be making an assumption here, right? Even if he's played for our under 18s or under 23s in England, maybe he's actually been training with our first team as well. So even that experience is going to be like invaluable as well. Imagine how positive that experience would have been actually training with the first team as well.
He was playing under Steven fucking Gerrard. Like, what a privilege. Like, he even made a point, like, he was my hero, and I was being managed. Like, we've got youngsters coming up that were managed by Steven Gerrard. Like, come on now. You can see, we're starting to see these players now coming into the first team, and the passion that he must have instilled in them, and the professionalism and the drive.
Well, he might be playing for Steven Gerrard again in the near distant future.
Well, this is it. Well, I kind
of going out to Rangers.
I didn't really think about that, and I thought, oh, wait a minute. Some of these players that were working with Steven Gerrard, were managed by Steven Gerrard, are now coming up into the first team and getting little appearances. And I thought, wow, we can see Stevie's little hard work coming up now.
I think Jurgen has a weekly talk with Stevie G every now and then, and says, "Hey, look,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the guy that we've got,
We all know he's training him on the slide.
Yeah,
we all know that.
just, you know.
I think even if and when Gerrard does become manager, Klopp will be, you know, you always see Sir Alex in the background, don't you, at Man U? Fuck knows what he's doing right now because he ain't helping. But
give him the contract.
I think Klopp just won't be able to stay away. Yeah, I don't think Klopp will be able to stay away all the time.
No.
I think he'll always be lingering around somewhere in the background.
He's got a house there, so hey.
Yeah, I agree.
You're going to sell that house.
And then obviously we had Harvey Blair. So bless him. First half he played. I think stage fright.
Definitely.
Just couldn't quite get his feet going. Just didn't really know how to fit in or what to do. So he's a left side winger, 18 years old. But he's kind of playing in more of that forward role. Interestingly, he can play out wide or in the middle.
Yeah.
He's again not really got a specific place yet. He's just versatile, which is kind of what Klopp's doing with Jota, isn't it? He plays on the side or in the middle. He's got a, you know, we actually signed him from Man United when he was in the under-12s.
Amazing.
So, you know, is a youngster. He signed his contract in 2020, but he's had lots of injuries. So he's a bit older, isn't he? And he's
18.
Oh, he's 18. So
yeah,
he played in the under-18 squad in the 2021 season, but he had loads of injuries and he only actually made 4 appearances, but he got 2 goals.
Well,
out of those 4 games.
I don't know whether you guys knew that when Steven Gerrard was about 17, 18, he had shitloads of injuries.
Yeah. That
his bones were growing and certain parts of his body were still getting used to the rest of his body. So, you know, there's definitely time for these guys to.
Yeah.
But you think about it. So this kid's obviously in the under-18 squad. He's had loads of injuries. He's only actually managed to play 4 games and got 2 goals. He's then gone into this season now. He's made 5 appearances and scored a goal.
Right.
He played in the game versus Atletico as well. So in that small amount of time, he's managed to sign a new contract, get moved up to the under-23s, and got picked by Klopp.
Yeah, it's great.
Play in this game. So through all of that, he must be showing something. You know, I know he didn't really show anything yesterday, but he must be showing something.
His time will come.
Yeah, absolutely right, Nicholas. You can't judge somebody on just that game. Can't judge them alone. Everyone's time will come. Everyone's time will come.
Yeah, he did fade in the second half, but granted,
I think he was tired, right? He looked a bit tired.
He came off second half.
Like
he only
55 minutes he played. But you're right, there's different pathways as well. And he said, well, we're never ever going to know. We're never ever going to know why he was substituted on 55 minutes. We're not going to know why Matip was substituted at halftime. But I think the one thing that will always be comforted in, the one thing that will always be comforted is in that Klopp and our coaching staff. The pathway is correct. So I think that's the right thing.
Whether you're subbed after 2 minutes or 20 minutes or 45 minutes, the moment you walk off and Klopp puts his arm around you, you know.
Thank you.
You've done something.
Yeah.
I think the fact it was half time and he brought on Connor Bradley, which is another youth player. I think Klopp just wanted to, you know, for them to both have equal time out. I don't think it was because let's face it, the whole team, we were looking at shots and stuff. It was the whole team. It wasn't just him having issues in that first half. We spoke about Gomez and Matip in that first half, for God's sake. Let's not judge an 18-year-old who's up front when like Gomez and Matip are having a Malibu and Coke at the back.
Yeah,
let's not judge him on that. I thought some of the runs he made, you can see what he's got. And the fact, like I said, he can play through the middle or on the wing. I think once he's picked one and honed it, or they've kind of said, do you know what, Klopp will say, do you know what, that's your position. Like let's hone you into that role.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a glimpse in the future? Was
not completely, but
glimpse, you know, little glimpse.
That's a good shout, Nicholas. That's a good shout.
I think I can only go back to what I was saying before, and I have to be quite honest with myself. I think if as an example, we had 7 of our academy and 18-year-old players actually feature,
Yeah.
If one of those players has an opportunity to be part of a future, then that's a plus point. And as you said, even if their future is not in Liverpool, as long as they're able to continue and have a pathway in their profession as a footballer, then that's also a plus point. That also means that what we're actually doing at a club in terms of developing them as a footballer, but also as a positive young person, then that means that we're doing the right thing as well. But I can only say, you know, we've probably seen some Scarlets over the years, and for various reasons, they probably haven't progressed as we've probably wanted them to, and they probably moved on. I'm only giving this one person as an example. Only this one person as an example. Ryan Brewster.
I know.
And then he's moved on for whatever reason. So as you said, different pathways open up.
Yeah.
But, we're blessed, Nicholas. I think the bigger picture is that we're blessed and we've got the right foundation.
Yeah.
And I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if all 7 of them are actually part of our future? We definitely saved a lot of money in the transfer side of stuff anyway.
And we got that. I can't pronounce his name, and I apologize, but I just keep calling him the Polish kid.
Yeah, no,
he is phenomenal as well.
A goalkeeper.
Yeah. No, he was the Polish Lionel Messi.
Yeah, he's a midfielder.
I'll
text you his name, Stoney, because I can't say it. I'll text you, and I am going to learn it. Next time we come on the show, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apologize to, and I'm going to say his name, and I'm going to apologize. But he's outstanding as well. Obviously, Cade Gordon, I think, is going to have a huge influence. And then we can't forget, you know, we've still got Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Trent's not old, is he? Robbo's not that old. We've still got some amazing things coming through. I saw Harvey Elliott today. He was in swimming pool, jogging from end to end in the swimming pool. He's just phenomenal as well. His hard work, his mindset, straight away. He wasn't depressed, wasn't down. He's like, right, cool. I've got a new target to hit now, and he just keeps hitting them as well. So,
I think he'll be back before the new year. You know that I've got a bit of an inkling that it might be.
Well, if it's before AFCON, that would be bloody lovely, wouldn't it? But he needs to take it easy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
James Mateus.
Yes.
Mateus is his name. The midfielder, Polish midfielder.
Mateus. Right. There we go. He's quality. Right, guys. I think we should wrap it up now. My laptop just beeped at me. I think it's tired. What a great conversation. I said that I was looking forward to this game more than a lot of the games, because you get to see, we know what our first team can do. We know what we've got in the bag. It's lovely watching it, but it was this game that I was the most interested in, because it was all the bench, all the fringe and all the youth players. Let's see what we've got behind the scenes. It was kind of like a look backstage, wasn't it, at the production that happens behind the center stage. And it wasn't amazing, but we did it. Origi and Taki did their jobs, and we got to see, you know, Curtis channeling Ronaldinho. I love that quote. I'm going to go with that quote 100%. Okay, so I'm going to flash this up. Watford completed. Atletico first half completed. Man U wiped out. Domination. That was my title for our aftermatch show. I said the Reds dominated Old Trafford, because that is all you can explain that as, total domination. I thought we were just a team of Terminators.
15 goals scored in the past 4 games.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Salah's only not scored in 1 game, and that 1 game, I can't remember who it was now. Is it Palace? I can't remember what game it was, but he was offside. I need to show you this. He was offside. You know, they do their stupid lines. Like, he scored, but it was ruled offside by VAR.
That's not good enough. He's got to sell him now. Fuck it.
Let him have that goal. Just go back and let him have that goal, and then he can say he scored in every game. You know, it's just 1 game he hasn't scored in, and he was offside by a millimeter. So 7th of November is West Ham. That will be the international break. So next we've got Brighton. Then we've got Atletico. That's a nice little gap in between as well. So Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a nice little layout there, isn't it? Nice distribution of games. Obviously, Atletico's at home. That's going to be bouncing. That is going to be bouncing. That's going to be crazy that night.
That is going to be
West
crazy.
Ham will be a test away.
Yeah.
But let's just focus on Brighton because, you know, we can't become too complacent.
No.
Brighton has been doing well. Graham Potter's got them trained and organised. They are missing Basuma now, though, which was kind of like their driving force in midfield. I know everybody had their eye on him. I know we did a show talking about him as a potential target. So now he's out with the equation. Are they missing that little bit of, you know, their little Ronaldinho spark in the middle? Everyone saying he's a bit like Kante, wouldn't they?
That's the engine, isn't it?
Damage their potential target for the season.
Yeah. Well, they're missing their key player, aren't they? You know, it's like if Chelsea lost Kante, it's kind of like the equivalent for Brighton. It's the equivalent. So I think they've carried on pretty well, but how long can that last when you're up against the Egyptian king? I think we'll just leave that there. I sound so cocky and so arrogant, but come on now.
No, we have to do it. As you said, look, we'll have a show either pre-Brighton game or post-Brighton game. And as you said, I think the conversation will be good because Brighton have got some tidy players at the moment as well. I know it's going to be another show, but I like Cucurella at the moment as well, the nice little Spanish left back. But we're going to save that till another show. But I do like him a lot. But we'll save that to another show.
And it's one of our old boys that are coming back to Anfield, so he'll get a
lot. He'll get a lot of
love.
Little soft spot for him. He's been really good this season as well. Anyway, we'll probably do a Brighton pre-match show. Keep an eye out for it. We're not sure when and where.
I'm gonna I'll put the kettle on now.
We're just gonna go for a short interlude and we'll be back. Joking. Right, keep an eye out on our Twitter. It's in the descriptions, in the comments. I'll flash it up for you quickly. It's in the comments here. So we are on Twitter. I know I'm just going to leave the Man U part on that bit. It's at Kop Talk, YNWA, no walk alone. You can find me on there as well at Gems TRTJ. You can also find us on Facebook. So thanks everybody for watching. Please leave comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Please hit the thumbs up button and share and subscribe and support us. Great fan base. You never walk alone. Always supporting each other. I love my club. I love my fan base. Wrong side. That side. Twisted. Standard. Right.
And last thing.
Yes, you had the last word.